Now that we're just 53 days away from Election Day, our 13 WREX's Manny Estopinan sat down with the youngest voters in our electorate, trying to understand what's energizing them to the polls and how candidates can win their vote in this tight race.
Since the 2022 midterm elections, over 8.3 million Americans have aged into the electorate. We're talking about young adults turning 18 and 19 this year. Now, if you're doing the math, the youngest person casting their ballot this year were born in 2006. Now, this is just a fraction of the young Americans hoping to make an impact this election. In the 2024 general elections, 40.8 million Generation Zers will be eligible to vote, but will they show up to the ballot box?
What we know from previous elections is that youth voters between the ages of 18 and 29 typically show up at the lowest rates among all the age groups.
This November, senior Jaden Gallagly will vote in his first presidential election. He brought Turning Point to his high school, a national conservative organization, in hopes of rallying his classmates.
When they start talking about political issues, some people get annoyed. They kind of just want to live the high school life and not really worry about the issues. But in general, unfortunately, everything kind of evolves around politics.
This will be Emma Murphy's second election. She heads the Illinois College Democrats, helping campuses across the state mobilize voters.
Encouragement is really important to youth. Like, they want to be heard, they want to be seen. And I kind of think that's where we have that disengagement from. They tell us, your vote doesn't matter anymore. Why even bother? Why even try?
Dr. Pamonte's research shows that the candidate who is or looks younger tends to mobilize a higher youth voter turnout, but says age won't be enough to get out the vote.
You need to talk about issues that are important to youth in order to encourage them to turn out to vote.
I really want to become financially stable and free, in my 20s. And, with the current administration, it's really unfeasible. Rent has skyrocketed. Food prices have skyrocketed. It's really hard to live on yourself, which I think right now in this economy, it's really going to rely on, younger adults living with their parents for, longer.
It doesn't come down to just abortion access. It comes down to access to birth control and access to contraceptions.
In 2008, Barack Obama was 25 years younger than John McCain. And he also reached out to youth using text messages, Facebook, Twitter, and that was also a new type of engagement for campaigns to use.
The new social media site playing a crucial role this election, Tik Tok. Both presidential candidates have recently joined the platform, a sign of its gravity this cycle.
I know a lot of political information comes from TikTok nowadays. Almost every, Gen Z or high schoolers on TikTok. So a lot of different information comes out on that. I feel like those are good outlets to really kind of get the messaging out on candidates and issues.
There's just this new wave of excitement that's just hitting social media that I just haven't seen joy and happiness around politics in a really long time.
We'll be keeping a close eye on how candidates up and down the ballot engage the country's youngest minds.
I would say overwhelmingly both sides could do a lot better in getting the young voters out, to vote. Democracy relies on voters, and if we have low turnouts, with eligible voters, that's not good.
Right now, I just want everyone to know that we're enthused and to definitely don't count out Gen Z this election cycle. We're ready. We're coming in full force.
Another big issue Jaden and Emma are paying close attention to is the war in Gaza. It's an issue that's garnered a lot of attention from young voters. We saw those college protests spur across the country over the summer. Be sure to head to our website at WREX.com to learn how you can register and make your voice heard this year.
And that was our Manny Estopinan reporting. And for Illinois residents, make sure to mark your calendars for September 26th. That's actually when mail-in ballots will start being sent out to voters, and it will also be the first day of early voting.